Imagine getting the very best prospective buyers to just stand in line with money in hand and beg you to take it. Wouldn't that be great? Isn't that the greatest visual analogy when so many salespeople are chasing it, when there's never enough money, when there's never enough really great prospects out there ready to do business with them? You know, it's just a grind. It's a struggle. Every single day is nothing but a struggle. And yet, imagine if you had a way that the very best prospective buyers could just come to you. You know that they're already the very best buyers. They've got the money. They want to spend it. They want to spend it with you. They're eager to spend it to you. They're practically begging you to take it. Well, I'm going to give you a simple idea. All my ideas are really simple, by the way. Implementing them is complicated sometimes. But the best ideas are simple ideas. And look, it all hinges on this one idea. And it's a nice little play on words so you can memorize it easily. Like a little bumper sticker or whatever. Those who pay attention. If you want people to pay attention, you've got to make them pay. Make people pay and they'll pay attention. So, however you want to say it, it's a nice little play on words, easy to remember, and the truth. The truth is so great. Look, there's other ways you can pre-qualify people. There's other ways you can bring people to you all ready to do business with you. But making them pay money, even a little money, doesn't have to be much money at all, is the real secret here. Because people buy what they're most in. They show you they reveal their true selves by the money that they spend. You know, so there's an old quote in marketing. It just says, show me what you're spending all your money on and I'll tell you who you are. I'll tell you what kind of person. And what I'm really talking about is more disposable income, but not necessarily even disposable income. I mean, if somebody's got a really expensive car and they're spending $1,500 a month in lease payments for that really expensive sports car, I'll kind of tell you the kind of person that is, maybe, if I observe some other things about them also. But, people reveal themselves by what they spend their money on. And our job is to get prospective buyers to self-identify. In other words, to get them to take some sort of action that proves to you and me, of course, the marketer, that they really are serious. They want what it is that we offer. And when they pay money, they pay attention. Now, I spent a fortune with this one world-famous marketer. And when I say I spent it, it was my wife and my money. So, with her blessing, she came along to most of these seminars and consulting, coaching programs. This is before she became homebound. She's got multiple sclerosis. Anyway, so before Eileen's multiple sclerosis got too bad, we used to travel around and we spent a fortune with this marketer, world famous guy. Won't tell you his name here, but I had a good friend of mine, in fact, the guy that made us millionaires in the very beginning, Russ von Holscher. He said, "Why are you spending all that money with this certain person?" He said, "You can get, you don't have to do that. You don't need all that one-on-one coaching. You don't need to belong to this coaching group. You can get all of his best secrets just by studying some of the materials that cost 10 times less money." That was always his argument. Well, I thought about it for years. Why am I spending all this money? Well, I really believe that because I did spend all of that money, and all that, with that money came a greater involvement. Eileen and I were part of a high-level coaching group with a small group of people around the country that were in the same type of businesses that we were in. And so, a lot of high-level people, movers and shakers, and the air is really thin up there at the top. And it was just a life-transforming experience for me. Through my involvement with that group, I learned so much. It was such a positive experience for me. And I think that my friend Russ was wrong about that. You get what you pay for. And by paying more money, I paid more attention. By paying more money, I took it more seriously. I was a much better student. I absorbed it all more. I was paying a lot of money to be there. I wanted to make every second count. And by the traveling, that's another way of paying a price, because, it was so hard to travel to all of those, we met 4 times a year, and it was just so difficult. It took me out of my regular life. And that, you know how tough that can be sometimes. But people who pay attention. So make people pay. Make them pay. And tell them. No, here's what I do with my stay home and sell coaching clients. I tell them, look, I'm always looking for good joint venture partners. This is a training platform. It's a recruiting vehicle for me. It's a way that I can identify who are the really most talented people that I want to work with and I want to connect with. And so I take my very best students and I try to turn them into joint venture business partners. I tell them all of that up front. That's one of the reasons I offer all of this and why I have all of this put together. But at the same time, I'm not a cheap date, so to say. I make the best irresistible offer I can with as much risk reversal in it as possible, to make it as attractive as possible, to get the very best people to come to me. But at the same time, I'm telling them what my intentions are right up front, and I want them to pay, because that's how I know that they're really serious. So it does separate out, it separates out by the more actions you can get somebody to take, the more hurdles you can get them to jump through, the more you know that they really are a qualified person. It's not an end-all, be-all, but it is the fastest, easiest, and simplest way to get somebody pre-qualified and prove to you that they really are worth you following up with, and they really do want, at least they want the benefits, and they're showing it by the money that they spend. Now, one last thing. I said you don't have to spend a lot of money. And let me prove that to you real quick. You do not have to spend a lot of money to do this. When we bought the company Profit Ideas from George Stern, that was a company that Russ was heavily involved with. That Russ negotiated that deal. We received, among other things, we received this really great promotion that Russ had put together, and that had made Russ and George a ton of money. And it was a free book offer, but it just asked for $1 to qualify. Just $1. And the first thing I did was took that dollar qualifier off. I thought, hey, we'll get a lot more people to come to us. And I was right. On the short term, I thought, hey, I scored here. This was the right idea. Instead of take that dollar off, make it easier for people to respond. And sure enough, Russ had shown me, I had all of the results from all of the past promotions that they had done, and I knew right out of the gate how much better it was working because I took the dollar off. But you can guess what happened. The punchline, of course, is that, well, the leads sucked. They were no good. My conversion rate tanked. Just $1 made a difference. $1. Now you think, what? $1? Isn't that just so crazy? Isn't that just crazy? $1. What difference does $1 make? Well, it made enough difference for people to take it more seriously, for people to remember, for it to be separated out from all the other things that they were looking at or sending away the information for. Back then we didn't have the internet. Can you imagine life without the internet? Ha! That's how old I am. But you got to get people to pay before they pay attention. So think about this. It's simple. You've got to have that widget, is what I call it. If you're working with me and you're one of my joint venture partners, we give you all of this. It's always part of our marketing systems. That widget, if you will, that thing that you sell to somebody at a low cost, so that they go ahead and prove to you that they really are serious. So, thank you for listening to this. If you're one of my students, I am so deeply grateful for you. If you're not one of my students, but you just want to find out more about what I'm doing, who I am, click on the link below. And thank you very much. Hope you've benefited from this. Hope something I've said has made a difference. Bye for now.